Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Welcome to another level. What will you actually do? And pretty much title that the elder Apostle Tar threw out there. I mean, he didn't say it in that. And pretty much this is something that Spirit has. You could talk all the stuff you want comes, and they put that MOTB in your face, and you're presented with different adversities and trials. What will you actually do? And this is just the reality of it all. We're all going to be tested. We're all going to be, put, in a position to where we're going to have to either take the MOTB or not, at the point of death. And this is why you have to, what you're really involved in, find out where and they push that thing and make it mandatory that we can all resist, because Yahweh said, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved, and the current video that the Elder Pastor did, about 9 hours ago or so, the last video he did, he was speaking on a video that the Elder Karatazar from Vegas put up of this the face or wait. But eventually, I've been saying this for a while, that they may put everything behind, some type of glass or some type of, something that you can't break. And the only way you can get in there is by waving that MOTB. I've been saying that, a few times in different lessons, and that's how they can fully push their MOTB out on the world scene. I didn't do a video on this channel yesterday because when I was going to do this video actually yesterday, but when I got ready to do it, Elder Apostle Rakar came through, and he asked me to sit in with him on his lesson, and we ended up on his channel, which that's what I meant to grab. On his channel, we ended up doing like almost about an hour and 40-minute lesson. So I didn't get a chance to do a lesson yesterday on my channel. Let me see if I can find his channel real quick so that I can give it to you out there, the ones that may not know. If anybody in the comments knows what the Elder Apostle Rakar's pages, but if you could post it on the comment section or in the live chat, so that those that are not subscribed to him can subscribe. So many channels, you can't keep up with all the channels, you forget, and then there's a lot of channels that named the same, so it's kind of hard to remember each channel. Okay, let's see. Okay, his channel is GMS Keep Pushing On, all one word. GMS is separate, and then Keep Pushing On is one word. GMS space Keep Pushing On. All right, and the video we did last night was 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 20 seconds, so you can see that video there, and I'll subscribe to the Elder Apostle and be edified. All right, so in the other lesson, I believe it was a lesson prior to the last video that the Elder Apostle did, where he threw the title at me. He went through the lyrics of IGY, which is a song by Donald Fagen from. He used to be a part of the group called Steely Dan, and then he went solo. And actually, he was really like the main. I mean, they were both talented, but he was really the main talent of the group. The other guy, I believe, was the Edomite. But he highlighted, Elder Pastor highlighted this this uh, actual um, this actual song here and the lyrics. Let me see, just Salaki. Let me just looking for something which I meant to get before I started. Uh, just bear with me. Okay, so I guess it means, because I meant to look it up, the IGY of the title of this song means International Geophysical Year. It says an event that ran from July 1957 to December 1958. The IGY was an international scientific project promoting collaboration among the world's scientists, to make the world so-called better. But really, it's just more so to bring the world into this system that we see today, known as the digital system, and to pretty much introduce AI robots to replace people. And you're going to see that. So, we're just going to go through a few points. I'm going to read some of this, and then I'm going to stop, and get some definitions. And one particular scripture that I had in mind that I'll go to if anything else comes up. I'll go to it. And matter of fact, let's start off with this real quick, since it just came to mind. This is oldie but goodie. You brothers already know this, that have been studying for a while. In the book of Second Thessalonians, I'm sorry, not Second Thessalonians, it's 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Now let's look up this word devices real quick, because the Lord is going to disappoint their devices. He's going to disappoint their enterprise. So the word is noema, which means a mental perception, thought, because the New World Order, NWO, is pretty much a thought or a vision that they had for the future. And they had to pay people to come up with think tanks, to come up with this whole infrastructure that you see today out here, in the world, to be able to realize their vision. And we're seeing it fast approaching because it's here. It's just a matter of them putting together the right scenario to be able to push, the micro CHIP, which is the ultimate goal of the international banking families, is to have everyone micro CHIP. Majority of people will take it in their hands, but you will have a good portion that will take it in their brain, and that's where the miracles will come into play, which is a deceptive tactic. And it says that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect, because they're going to make it so appealing, so convenient, that everyone's going to want to have it, but the elect will not be fooled. It says an evil purpose, and this is exactly what they're doing. When we read these lyrics, you're going to see the evil purpose, that which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes. And we know that the Lord said he's going to disappoint the devices of the crafty. So when we go to this, to IGY, right, which is International Geophysical Year, which was from 1957 to 1958. All right, this was a gathering of these scientists, and he pretty much did a song based off of that. So it says, "Standing tough under the stars and stripes," which we know that's America, stars and stripes. That's their flag. We can tell the dreams in sight. Why? Because they have a plan for what? The New World Order. That's why when you look on the back of a dollar bill, you have Annuit Coeptus, or our enterprise has been crowned with success. And what is that enterprise? or when you look at the bottom of the pyramid, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, or the New World Order. And then underneath the pyramid, or on the pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid, you have a bunch of Roman numerals that add up to 1776. Most people equate that with July 4th, 1776, but it's really tied to May 1st, 1776, under the Bavarian faction of the Illuminati. All right. And he mentions the Illuminati here, but indirectly. It says, this dream's in sight. You've got to admit it at this point in time that it's clear. The future looks bright. The future is the New World Order. Looks bright. That goes into the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, the rulers of the darkness of this world. Why? Because they have that power. And when we go to Ephesians, we're battling these demons and satanic spirits. But these demons and satanic spirits, are being called up by these international banking families because they are using sorcery, witchcraft, so on and so forth to manipulate the minds of the people. And this is why they have what's known as the television, which is pretty much used to program the minds of the people. That's why you have certain individuals that don't watch television, but watch alternative news channels to get their message from there, because the television was used to program. That's why you have programs and channels. The channel, the ideas of the international banking families into the psyche of the people out here so that they can best control them, because people watch television and they'll get nervous, they'll get scared, or they'll be programmed in the direction that the international banking families want them to go. So when we read Ephesians 6 and 12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And it's not a physical fight. It's a spiritual fight. But against principalities. And the principalities are a hierarchy of demons. It's the council of the Most High on the left-hand side. Head by the head demon, which is Satan. Which the name Satan means adversary. It says against powers. So we're fighting these demonic forces that we can't see, but they're there. This is why they're coming our thoughts. It's like the wiles of the devil, as it says there, these demonic thoughts that come into our minds. It's these spirits, because we are a threat, because we're not going in the way of this world. We didn't conform to this world. We weren't molded into this world. We were cut out of the mold of this world and reshaped in the mold of Yahushai, in the image of Yahushai. And that is a threat to this world. That's why them demons that the man had on him that was called Legion, all those spirits, they told Yahushai, well, I'm not sure if it was that or others that told Yahushai, what have we to do with you, O son of David? Have you come to torment us before our time? Because they're given free reign right now to wreak havoc. And that's what they were created for, and they're given a certain period of time to do that until Yahushua establishes his kingdom. And the kingdom wasn't established back then. That's why they say, look, it's our time to, to wreak havoc. You come to torment us before our time, or in other words, to stop us from the purpose that the Heavenly Father made us to do. It says against the rulers of the darkness of this world. And this is the point right here, the rulers of the darkness of this world. When you go to that word there, right? The rulers of the darkness. The word darkness is kotos. The word here for rulers is cosmokrator. When you break down cosmokrator, these are the world rulers. It's a compound word. Cosmokrator. All right. And here it says kratori. Cosmokrator. It says Lord of the world, prince of this age, the devil and his demons, which they have reigned on the left-hand side of the Most High because the Lord gave him that power. And it's not just one individual. It says the rulers of the darkness of this world, which would fall under the label of the international banking families who have control of the world's resources. And this is why Maya Angelbauer, whose name was later changed to Rothschild, said, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes his laws." Now, when you go here, it says a world ruler. It really should say world rulers because it's not single. It's not singular. When you see that, it says rulers, not ruler. Cosmocrator. All right. So it's a world ruler. So it's a compound word. The word cosmos is organization and adorning. And the word krateo or krateo or krator goes into the word rule or ruler, world ruler. Okay. And they are held up by their witchcraft, by them consulting with demons. This is why it speaks about that in Isaiah the 47th chapter. And if we get a chance, we'll go to it. So let's go back to this. Let's read it again. Standing tough under the stars and stripes, we can tell this dream's in sight, the New World Order. You've got to admit it at this point in time that it's clear the future or the New World Order looks bright. The word bright goes back to the word Illuminati, and that's their vision, the Luciferians or the light bearers. All right, that's who is ruling and controlling this world. on the left-hand side, that is given to them by Yahweh Bashem Shai. So what is this future or this New World Order of the elite, so-called elite, the international banking families? On that train, all graphite and glitter. Now, what is graphite? We go to graphite. All right. Is a gray crystalline allotropic form of carbon, which occurs as a mineral in some rocks and can be made from coke. It is used as a solid lubricant in pencils and as a moderator in nuclear reactors. All right, so this is a substance that they use for this modern day technology. Remember, in the book of Daniel, the Lord said that knowledge will increase. So what I did was, because when I saw the word graphite, I thought about the word graph to the een. Just put it together. You got to speak in code. So I looked here and it says, is graph to the een made from graphite? It says yes. Yes, graph to the een is made from graphite. Graphite is composed of millions of graphene sheets stacked on top of one another. And the reason why they use this technology in modern technology is because this graphite is not strong enough to sustain these things. So when they make it into this, the graph to the een, it's a lot stronger. And it's used for many things, right? It says the thinnest possible layer of carbon can be peeled off from graphite through a process known as top-down. So, this is for the nerds out there. So what I did was I since we were building off of this word, which is what came to mind when I read this word, I also typed in, is graph to the een used to make RFID micro C-hips? Flexible films fabricated using two different conductive pastes based on mixture of graph to the een and biopolymers have been used to fabricate passive ultra-high frequency UHF radio frequency identification RFID tags consisting of a dipole antenna and a micro C-hip on a paper substrate. All right, so not the graph to the een doesn't necessarily have to be in those micro C-hips, but they can make it out of that, because you do have some micro C-hips that have this technology in them, and it's used as a pretty much. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but it's used more so as a conductor. This is why they wanted to hit people, with the jump shot, so that they can insert this material so that they can become like an antenna or a conductor. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just sharing information. I'm not a scientist. I don't know all those physical terms. I'm not a rocket scientist, none of that crap. I'm just sharing some information. All right. So as you can see, all these things combined together are used in technology. All right. And the technology that they have is a vision that the international banking families, which here is known as the Bright, even in the movie Planet of the Apes, the first ones, they called Charlton Heston, they called them Bright Eyes. Why? Because that was an allegory, so to speak, to the international banking families' vision. And remember, he so-called came from space, which this also goes into that. So pretty much in this song, he's pretty much singing about the future of technology and how everything is going to be sped up. And in this speeding up, what it's going to do is going to eliminate the use of people and bring to pass a more efficient world run by robots and AI. That's pretty much what they're bringing. And this is why Donald Trump signed an executive order where he wants Elon Musk to be more aggressive, which is really the handlers of Elon Musk. They're just making it seem like Donald Trump is calling the shots, but they want Elon Musk to be more aggressive with this Doge agency that they have set up for him to make things more efficient, so to speak. Okay, let's go back. Just bear with me 1 second. All right, so it says, uh, future looks bright on the train, all graphite and glitter, undersea by rail. 90 minutes from New York to Paris. Well, by 76, we'll be okay. It says, what a beautiful world this will be. What a glorious time to be free. And pretty much the people will not be working. That's why Cotton Swab, as a priest Amawan Gabar calls him, said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And this is why you have something known as a UBI. Now they have different incentives out there, different food cards that they're passing out. That they're saying this is not this is not a joke. This is real. You can get this stuff, and once you get into a system of Esau, you have to comply by the rules of the game. And that's why it says that we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, because when you get trapped in that game or in that infrastructure, you can only maneuver in it if you have the right tools, and the right tools will be the MOTB. I'm trying to remember. Oh, there's a post that a brother put up, which I made a copy of it. I took a screenshot and sent it to a few brothers. It's a Musk official. I'm not sure if this is on X, but it's dealing with the USDI, or the United States Driver Initiative. Starting today, USDI, along with major insurance companies, will offer subsidized auto insurance to all DUI-free drivers in all 50 states as low as $19 a month. So this is a way of getting people to so-called save money on insurance, but to trap them in that system. You see, because what is the criteria, or what is needed to partake in this event? So these devils will make it seem like they're helping the people, but it's really a trap. It's really a trap. Let's go to trying to remember what scripture was that brother was reading it. I mean, there's plenty of you. We can go to Psalms 10, but there was a good one he was reading. I believe that was Psalms 35. I forgot exactly who was reading it, but this is a bad scripture if I could find it. And if not, then we'll go to the 10th chapter. Excuse me. Or I can't seem to find the exact spot. I'm almost positive it was here. But let's go to Psalms 10. Because this is a big trap that they're setting. And who's the main ones that they're coming after? The Israelites. And it says that there's going to be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Because we are the biggest threat to the New World Order. Because Esau's trying to get his birthright back. And that's why he wants to micro-CF everybody to change the mechanism of the body so that the Most High won't recognize the individual that gets that, that change. All right? Because they're trying to be like the Most High. Because the Lord said he's going to change our bodies and make them mortal bodies. And this devil wants to do it artificially. I just want to get straight to the point. Psalms 10 and 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, because they got it out there in plain sight, but behind the scenes is the real reason why they have this whole infrastructure. It's pretty much to enslave the population of the world. It says in the secret places does he murder the innocent, right? Because they have these private meetings. That's why the King David, way back when he was in rulership back in around 1000 AD or so. I'm sorry, 1000 BC, my bad. Around 1000 BC, he had a vision of these demonic councils that these devils would have. That's why he called it the secret council of the wicked. It says his eyes are privily set against the poor, and the main ones that are, in the line of fire are the Israelites. He says he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. And that's what he's doing with all of these different programs and ideas and plans for the future. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And that's what's happening. People are being drawn slowly but surely, cornered into this new system. And most people are not wise enough to see that they're being drawn in like the pigs of the Oiki Finoiki. I believe that's what they were called. George Gordon did that, a series on that, the pigs of Oiki Finoiki, something like that. I learned that from Elder Apostle Gabar. From time to time, I still listen to it. I believe I have it. I have that file in my phone, if I'm not mistaken. And it's, it just shows you how you get something, no matter what it is, an animal person used to doing something over and over again. And after a while, they'll just come to it, and not even worry about looking for resources anywhere else. They'll just keep coming to the person that's providing it for them for free. But there's a trap that comes along with that. All right. So the word there is mashak, for draw, to draw, drag, seize, right? And that's what they're doing, to drag along. And they're dragging, especially Jake, into this trap of the New World Order. Futuristic, this futuristic trap that they're laying out there for the Israelites. He croucheth and humbleth himself, right? Because they're making it seem like it's for the benefit of the people, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Who are the strong ones? That's, your police forces, your military forces. And that's what they plan on doing. But the Lord said, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. And you got to remember, the technology that they have now is far superior than anything that they had. And they have robots, robot dogs and regular robots that can handle, weapons, there was an incident recently where a robot, I think it was, killed a whole bunch of people at a research center. I don't really remember all the details. I just kind of overheard it. I don't know if it was in one of them videos or if it was an article that was sent around. So these devils have been planning to do this because they are the rulers of the darkness of this world, or the cosmocrators. All right, so let's go back here to the lyrics, and we can get rid of this stuff here so we can free up some space. And what I'll do is I'll open up another tab just in case I need it. Now let's get back to the lyrics. So you get the whole, the whole the train of the future looking bright, Illuminati, their NWO, graphite and glitter. This is dealing with their technology, everything speeding up. What a beautiful world this would be. So it says, get your ticket to that wheel in space. And when Elder Pastor did another lesson, I forgot which one it was, he mentioned the movie Elysium, which I wasn't sure what movie he was speaking about. But then when he mentioned Matt Damon, I said, okay, yeah, Elysium. And that was technology that they had in space. Because they know that this world, that this earth is going to be jacked up. It's going to be raw. Look, these devils pay their top scholars to research the scriptures, and they know that the scriptures are 100% right. But to the masses of the people out there, they'll make it seem like the Bible is not legit, that we're not in Bible times anymore, so on and so forth. So it says, get your ticket to that wheel in space while there's time. You see many movies where they, want to exit or want to, grab a whole bunch of people, prominent doctors and lawyers, and, just people that are beneficial for the future of the planet, and then they'll go either down in a subterranean shelter, or like in the movie 2012, it was some so-called arcs, which were modern day ships that they had for people when a flood came or whatever the case may be. It says, while there is time. Why? Because the New World Order isn't here just yet, but we're in the midst. It says the fix is in, because it's already in the making. People are already in the New World Order, but it just hasn't been fully made. It's not full yet, because they're setting it up to where they can actually sit back and eat off of the fruits of their demonic labor. It says, you will be a witness to that game of chance in the sky. We've got to win. Here at home, we'll play in the city, powered by the sun. Why? Because of the technology that they have, the heart program, so on and so forth. We remember that devil, Yuval Noah Harari said, we can piss God off as much as we want, because they had the technology to make it rain, to make food and all this stuff. So basically, they're saying that they don't need the Most High no more. It says, perfect weather for a streamlined world. So I looked up the word streamlined world, right? Now I'm going to give you the definition first, then I'm going to read you what it says on the phone. Matter of fact, let me read you what I got on the phone, because this is a different, what you call it? It's a different search engine than Google. This is Microsoft Bing. So I typed in, what is a streamlined world? It says a streamlined world refers to a design, aesthetic, and philosophy, particularly prominent in the 1930s and 40s. This is what Donald Fagen is speaking about, that emphasized smooth, aerodynamic shapes, horizontal lines, and a focus on speed and efficiency. And you see everything now is being sped up. That's why in the lyric, he mentioned going from New York to Paris in an hour or 9 minutes, hour and a half. Why? Because of the technology that they plan on bringing. right? But here, when you look up the definition of streamlined, right, there's a point right here. A streamlined business process, activity, etc., has been made simpler and more effective by reducing costs, the number of people involved in it, etc. So pretty much it's about this new form of technology that they have coming out, AI and robotics, to help the world run more efficiently and have to pay out less money. Because you remember, if you have robots or AI running your business, yeah, it's going to cost a lot to get the infrastructure going, but in the long run, you're going to save money and time because you don't have to pay workers for workers' comp. The robots don't take time off. They don't need to take a lunch break and two 15-minute breaks. They don't have to take, vacations. No, uh, what's that called? When a woman gets pregnant and they take time off for that maternity leave, so on and so forth. So it's just nothing but business round the clock. They can have those robots running round the clock, and all they have to do is have somebody from time to time come and do the maintenance on those machines, and that's that. There was I don't remember the name of it, but there was an episode on on um on the Twilight Zone. I know that the apostles remember it, but I can't remember the name of it. It was about machines, and there was an individual there that prided himself in having the machines take over, the workforce. I forget exactly all the details, but at the end, he ended up being alone by himself, because people were not needed anymore. And these are things that came out back in the 60s, episodes that came out back in the 60s. Remember this whole thing about the streamlined world goes back to the 30s and 40s. A vision they have in the 30s and 40s. A streamlined world refers to a design aesthetic and philosophy, particularly prominent in the 1930s and 40s. So they've been busy at work for the last almost 100 years. It says that emphasize smooth aerodynamic shapes, horizontal lines, and a focus on speed and efficiency. But that focus on efficiency is reducing the number of people involved in the process of this technology, because robots will be more better useful in the future. And that's what's going on. It says, thanks to new technologies, manufacturing has become more flexible, streamlined, and efficient, and has resulted in a higher quality of product. You see? Why? Because they reduced the amount of people that's needed for it. No more human error. You see? When they program a particular computer to do something, it's usually flawless. No mistakes. There's no human error. So that's pretty much what this is about. But he's an insider, so he would be on the. That's why I said it would be a beautiful world, because the sellouts, they're going to be a part of this. Get your ticket to that wheel in the space while there's time. The fix is in. You'll be a witness to that game of chance in the sky. We've got to win. Here at home, we'll play in the city, powered by the sun. Perfect weather for a streamlined world. There'll be spandex jackets, one for everyone. What a beautiful world this would be. What a glorious time to be free. And I'm sure there's more hidden messages in these lyrics, but that was the main point. So what I wanted to do, since we dealt with the rulers of the darkness of this world, the cosmocrators or the Illuminati, we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 14, which is dealing with America, Babylon the Great. All right. And the king of Babylon, right now would be Trump. And we strongly believe that he's going to be the one to usher in this MOTB and everything that's going on. And that's why they're pushing Elon Musk to be more aggressive with this Doge efficiency agency that they have set up to push this technology and to push this world, because they're at the end now where they want to push their goals and their agendas to the foremost, or to the top, because it's their time. And that's what the Lord said, that the destruction that's going to come is going to waste at noonday, meaning at the highest peak of the so-called Illuminati's kingdom. All right. When we jump down, because they know, let me read the 4th and 5th verse and then jump down. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. Why? Because this was the place that was used to set off the New World Order. That's why eventually in 1944, through the Bretton Woods Agreement, they had the US dollar to become the world reserve currency of the world, thereby causing everyone to have to deal and trade with America, or the American dollar, or the US dollar, and pushing everyone into the agenda and mindset of Americanization. It says, the Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. And right now we're seeing the broken scepter and them still trying to hold on to these broken ideas that the Lord already severed. Because in another dimension, this place is already destroyed. Everything already happened. We're already in the kingdom in another dimension. Because how do you think that the Apostle John and the prophets and all that were able to see these things? So let's go. Matter of fact, he who smote the people with he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Right? Because when you go down, you Edomites, you so-called white people, you're not going to have anyone that's going to be on your side, because you were ferocious upon the world. You had no mercy upon the world. Therefore, you will have no mercy. They will have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. Now, when we jump down to the 12th verse, it says here, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Or the future looks bright, right? The future looks bright. That's dealing with the Illuminati, the international banking families. Their future of the New World Order that they have set up in place. So the Lord is saying, how art thou fallen from heaven, or from your status or your rulership position, O Lucifer? All right. When you look up this word Lucifer, Lucifer in no shape, way, or form is connected to Satan, except you connect it to the man Satan, which are the Edomites. The word there is Hayalal. The word Hayalal means light bearer or light carrier. Right here it says halal in the sense of brightness. All right. Lucifer, light bearer, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon and Satan, which really is dealing with the king of Babylon, or is dealing with the Edomites, really the international banking families, because it's also referred to as the morning light or the morning star. The morning star, which would be Venus, which is the very first star seen in the morning, the brightest star in the morning, which is where you get the term Luciferian from, or Illuminati from. Right here, bright star, Stella Lucida, which is Stella is Latin for star, Lucida is bright. Then you have the term Eosphoros. Eos is light, phorus, or like phosphorus, is bearer. Eosphoros is light bearer. All right, same thing. The Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, Spanish, they all say the same thing when you understand what it means. Because when we go to, let's get this scripture. Let me see what it says in the Spanish. Let me go to the Spanish. Okay, they got a couple of them. That's the 1909 edition. Let's see. Como caíste del cielo, O Lucero. Lucero is also Lucifer, or light bearer. All right. When you go to the guy in 1865 that managed to take out the Apocrypha from the Spanish Bible, his name was Dr. Lorenzo Lucena. Lucena is like another way of saying light bearer. All right, that's his last name, Lucena. Lucero is Lucifer, light bearer. And this was never meant to be a proper name. It should have never had a capital L. It should have been a lowercase l. All right, that lowercase l tells you everything that you need to know. All right, here you got Eosphoros, and that's where you got Lucifer also. So let's read that again. About the reading in Spanish. Let me get the KJV. KJV, Isaiah 14 and 12. Right? It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And Esau is the one that weakened the nations, primarily here from America. This is what they use as a catapult to beat the world down. That's why America has that hegemony status over all people, all nations. That they really want to do any serious business, for a long time they had to conduct their business here with America, because the U.S. dollar was the world reserve currency and still is. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, which they did. That's why Donald Fagan spoke about, the wheel in the sky. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, and they did, because you have the space station up there, and also the stars of heaven also represent the Israelites, and they are established over us. They have a throne over us. It says, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, which is us, the Israelites, in the sides of the north. We're here in North America. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. You got your planes, you have your helicopters, drones, so on and so forth. I will be like the Most High. And this is pretty much what he's trying to do with this new technology. It's not just enough to put this device underneath the micro chip in everybody. They also want to set up a system to where they can watch everything, monitor everything, and be like the Most High. Change people's makeup. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, meaning you're going to be brought down to destruction. You're going to be brought down to the grave. In other words, your whole endeavor, your vision is going to die. And the Lord is going to establish and set up his son, Yahushai's kingdom, and the joint heirs with Yahushai, which would be us, the Israelites. It says, they that see thee, because there's going to come a point where the world is going to realize who the devil is. You have the spiritual demon Satan, but you also have their physical counterpart on the earth. Let's get Matthew chapter 13. And verse 38. It says, the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which are the Israelites, but the tares are the children of the wicked one, which are the Edomites. All right. They are the children of the devil. All right. The enemy that sold them is the devil. Right. And you have Esau that have laid down with Jake women, the Ephraimite women and the other tribes women, and they bring children by them. And if their line goes back to Esau, guess what? Those children are Edomites, no matter what they look like. But these guys that talk about that we have Edomites in our congregation, they never speak about the other side of how you have dark chocolate Edomites out there. It says the harvest is the end of the world and the reapers are the angels. So going back to Isaiah 14 and 16, when your whole system collapses and the world finally realizes who you really are, this is how you're going to be looked at. That you're going to be looked at as, where your place belongs, way at the bottom, because you are the basis of men that was established highest of men today to punish us and to bring forth wickedness in the earth so that the Lord can judge him and leave America as a burnt memorial to the world of what it is, what the reward is for being wicked. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Which showing you that Lucifer here is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. It's talking about a people. Just like when you read all through the book of Revelation, And in Daniel, when you read about the dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, that is not Satan. That is a conglomeration of empires of Esau, beginning with the Greeks, all the way up to the British, and America is a part of that because America would be known as the 8th head. And that's all a conglomeration. And it tells you that these are kings. It's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. So when it says that I saw Satan fall as lightning, Yahweh Shai said that there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. That dragon and his angels is Esau and their militaries, their planes and helicopters, stealth, jets and all of that. That is their angels. I always make mention of the movie. Saving Private Ryan. Towards the end of the movie, John Hanks, he had went blind from an injury that he had, and Matt Damon was there, which was the one that they went to save. That was Private Ryan, and he heard a plane in the air. He said, "What is that?" And Matt Damon said, "That's a B some." He said, "Angels on our shoulders," because that's Esau's angel. Because what are the angels known for? They're known for their might. That's why another name for them is cherub, or mighty ones. They're known for their might. And that's the Most High's army. So Esau's might, or Esau's angels, would be his military technology, like planes and helicopters, stealth bombers, tanks, missiles, so on and so forth. Those are Esau's angels. And that's who's going to fight against the Most High, but they're going to be flattened. It says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? See? So you did this. Let's look up this word narrowly. Narrowly look. The word is shagach. To gaze, stare. Like when you look at somebody narrowly, you're like, you? Nah, not you. Come on, nah. You the motherfucker? You're Satan? People are going to be in shock. Especially you Israelites out there that held Esau as being God and Jesus and all that. That made the world as a wilderness. They destroyed the earth and destroyed the cities thereof. Come on. Who does this fit? If anybody with an honest opinion or with an honest answer would have to say that the so-called white men did this. They destroyed the world, made the world as a wilderness, destroyed the cities, that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own place, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. That's right. And as a raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. And you're gonna perish like your own dung after you serve your 1,000 years of hardcore captivity. All right, so with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.